thank you so much for joining us to celebrate 25 years of raising heroes in Jamaica. This 5-part web series is our special gift to you in honor of our 25th anniversary, and it is designed to help parents, all of us as parents, learn from the journeys of our 5 outstanding beneficiaries, our young heroes, and help us to gain some insight from experts as to how we can raise the next generation of heroes, particularly during these challenging COVID times. My name is Kamika Clark, and I'm the agency director here in Jamaica. I'm so proud to have been a beneficiary of an education savings plan and to be working with our dedicated team to bring you the solution to the challenges of the cost of funding your children's post-secondary education. I'm also the mother of 2 boys, and I've personally learned so much from the guests in our first 4 episodes. I encourage you to catch up on Facebook or our YouTube channel on these episodes. I know they've stimulated some really powerful conversations in our home, and we're headed to some big changes as well. Please make sure that you click on the link in the comments as we go through the program to access our free downloadable guide of resources and share the links with your networks. Part 1 has great free learning tools, and part 2 will be invaluable because it'll include tips from all of our experts. And I'm going to tell you actually to wait till afterwards to download so that you can enjoy this program. Also, keep an eye out during the program for the special code to enter to win a Samsung tablet. We will provide a link in the comments afterwards, and you can make sure to enter the draw for that as well. I'm really excited that this draw has been extended to December 11th so that everyone who's watching both live and after the fact can participate. I'm also very excited about our guests tonight. We're going to be talking with 2 mompreneurs and community builders, Elena Diedrick-Lynch and Anika Wilson, about the importance of having a village as we work to juggle family and business life. At the core of our success first is our strong team, our dedicated team of sales representatives who work really hard to do the best for their subscribers. Throughout the series, we've shared with you some memorable moments from our longest serving team members, and we'll start off today with a moment from one of our sales representatives, Sanchia Henry Gibson.
What I really love about the Heritage Plan is the flexibility of the plan. I had a particular subscriber working in the tourism industry now during COVID time. She asked what can be done, what her options were. With that, we were able to make adjustments to the plan and gave her a 3-month break without her losing any of her benefits when the plan matures. I got a WhatsApp later to say, thank you so much, I love you.
And we love you too, Sanchia. Throughout this series, we've been getting to know and getting to learn from all of our young heroes who've put their heritage plans to work in laying a foundation for their success. In our last episode of the series, we're actually going to meet one of our youngest heroes who has yet to even finish high school. I'm excited to meet our first guest tonight, 12-year-old Imani-Leigh Hall. She's the creator of ILAH'S Lemon-aid stand for kids. Imani-Leigh has taken the bold step, supported of course by her village, of establishing ILAH'S Lemon-aid stand for kids foundation, which will provide assistance with food, clothing, educational needs, fun activities, and just about anything that will make a difference in the lives of children who are in need. They're putting a smile on children's faces and making them happy, and that's what she's all about, and she wants to do so much more. The vision saw light in 2017 when Imani was just 8 years old, and now with the help of her family and loved ones, she's working to create some really big change and to raise funds through the foundation, which hosts an annual event called Christmas at Home to raise funds for the Maxfield Park Children's Home. Imani-Leigh's mom, Dr. Thea Nicole Davis, is also here with us. She's an OBGYN, and I believe she is one of the most important links in Imani-Leigh's support system. Dr. Davis is also pretty forward-thinking herself, having enrolled this young powerhouse in the Heritage Plan when she was just 2 years old. Thank you so much for being here, both of you, Imani-Leigh and Dr. Davis. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for having us.
We're really proud of what you're accomplishing, and can I say, the more we saw you in action, and it was just even more exciting to know that you were a member of the Heritage family. Our subscribers and beneficiaries are everywhere. Thank you for what you're doing. Imani-Leigh, can you tell me a little bit about how you came up with this idea of a lemonade stand to help your community?
Sure. So what was happening was I was watching a lot of movies with my mom one day, and surprisingly, all of them had little kids or grown-ups who were having lemonade stands. And I've always wanted to participate in one or even make one myself. And Labor Day was coming up, and it was the perfect opportunity or a perfect time for me to actually do one. So I decided to do one, but I didn't really know what to do with the proceeds or the money. And then this great idea just popped up in my head. Why don't we give it to the children in need? Because it is Labor Day where we give back to the community. Perfect. So I decided to do that, and it just blossomed into this beautiful foundation where we help kids in their everyday lives to become happy and healthy.
Wow. Well, most kids would have been fantasizing about how they could spend the money. So the fact that you immediately began thinking of others really speaks to who you are. I'm just going to jump over to Mom for a second and ask, how do you think, is there anything you did, do you think, to perhaps nurture that spirit in your daughter?
So interestingly, yes, when she actually told me she wanted to do this lemonade stand in our community for Labor Day, I said to her, sure, let's do this. Let's make a picture of lemonade. And we had to make everything from scratch. We used our limes that we had, and we really had, set up that lemonade stand. And it was very heartwarming when, we made $7,000. It was about $7,000 we made that particular day. And it was heartwarming because I asked her, what is it that you wanted to do with this money? And what she didn't say was before the Christmas before, usually what we do every year, we do go to our children's home and you have to make a sacrifice. She has to make a sacrifice using a toy that she likes and give to a child in need. And it has always been in the back of her mind because when she leaves the children's home, she'll left that particular year feeling a bit sad about what she's leaving behind. So, it really wasn't that surprising when asked to her, what are you going to do with this money? And she says, I want to give it back. I want to do something, special, and told her to think about it. And then she thought about doing something on Christmas, that same Christmas, that 2017. And as she said, it was interesting because that was what she wanted. And the fact that she wanted to give back, there was no way as a parent, I was not going to try and foster that. And so I held her hand through it and I'm like, let's do this. It's hard work, but we do have an amazing village of friends and family that helped us to really make our first Christmas in the park at Maxfield Park amazing, an amazing event. So, wow. Yeah.
And I'm going to stay on lemonade for just a second. Can you tell us a little bit about the flavors and the feedback that you've received?
Sure. So our first flavor we have is lemony lime, which is actually our original lemonade that we started off with. People like it, but I guess they would say it's basic. It's the original one, so it's there. Also, we have Pinky Promise, which is every child's favorite. It's the sweetest one, so I think that's why. And also, I guess because of the color. Mm-hmm. And for Jumping Ginger, the grown-ups mostly like that one because it's not too strong, but it has a kick to it. So yeah, mostly the grown-ups.
Wow, that's great. And you've got some great branding going on in terms of your names. I understand that now your lemonade is a beverage supplier to several entities. Can you tell me how this might have impacted your foundation in achieving its goals?
Well, it did because we mostly earned our money from pop-ups like Motor Market or Meat Street or Jamaica Made Christmas and so forth. So we kind of had to figure out a way to kind of help them because we can't just put that all on a hold. So first we did a fun run in May, and we handed over 42 tablets to actually help the children who, don't have access to online learning. And then we needed a way to figure out, how to proceed in Christmas. So we decided to sell our lemonade in stores. We did Cafe Blue a short time ago, and now we're doing Encore. It's actually still available. Is it both locations? I think it's both locations. So yeah.
Well, I definitely have to go check it out. I met you first at Jamaican Made Christmas, and I can testify the lemonade is delicious. I'm a classic girl myself, but really do like your product. And so the retail sales will help to further grow what you're able to contribute.
Right.
Okay. And then in terms of COVID times and the restrictions in place, tell me about the adjustment that you've made there.
Well, we had to make quite a few adjustments. I guess one of the adjustments we made was not doing the pop-ups and not getting really, I guess, to go to the children home this year because, we won't be able to interact with the children. And I feel like that's such a special time. So that's very, very, very sad.
Yeah. I can imagine that would be an adjustment. And I think you mentioned you did a run for kids, but it wasn't a traditional run. It had like a virtual component.
Yes, that was mainly just because of the whole COVID thing, but I actually thought it was a great idea. And who knows, we might do it again next year.
Tell them about it, what you did.
So we all came together, me and my mom, and we planned it, and we needed to see how we can do a virtual run because at first when I thought of the idea, I knew I wanted to do it, but I wasn't sure exactly how to do it because a virtual run, it kind of just makes you think a little bit. So then we just thought of this idea of having them run in their own home, their own space, their own time, and then timing themselves and then uploading the time to a certain system so we can compare. And that money was used to go towards tablets.
Right. So that's how the 42 tablets came to be,
Yes.
which is incredible. That is so incredible. Can I say, we're all revisioning how we do business, right? Like our traditional anniversary is an event in a hall that we hold 100 people. We've been able to reach so many more through this web series. And I think that's what you've been able to accomplish by taking it virtual. I saw you had people running all over the world and participating in your efforts. So, I'm really impressed that COVID has forced you to think outside of the box and to create something magical, something special for everyone. So let's take a little fast forward then and tell me, what do you want to achieve for your foundation in the next 5 years?
For my foundation, I honestly hope to get to as much kids as possible and to touch their hearts because by touching other hearts, I believe that we actually touch our own and that's how we grow. I also hope to actually build a store, if so, that we can sell lemonade there. And that will kind of help us to do more Christmas, get to other children's home, reach more children.
Right. Can you imagine who would have thought a 12-year-old is talking about opening a retail outlet? It blows my mind. And in anticipating this interview, I kind of pictured this very mature soul. And that's exactly what I'm seeing here is a very grown-up young lady. Tell me, where do you see yourself 10 years from now? What do you want to be doing?
Well, 10 years from now, I'll be 21. So I hope to be in medical school, traveling the world, both abroad and then coming back home to Jamaica and also studying medicine because I actually want to look into cardiothoracic surgery.
Okay, so we already have a specialty. That's fantastic. And a doctor just like Momi. That's really wonderful. Tell me, sorry, go ahead.
No, when she actually told me that's exactly what I did. I was like, are you really going to do this? But I mean, as she has known herself, that's what she wants to do. So I'm riding with it with her. Not discourage her in any way or no shape or form. I'm with her. As long as I'm going to try my very best to stay with that. Yes.
That's fantastic. And so let me ask this question. I know you're with her, but what are some of the plans that you have to ensure that Imani is able to achieve all of her dreams?
Well, she is a really, as you said, I mean, she is a little old soul. She's a really sweet little girl. I mean, and I'm not just saying this because I'm her mother. I mean, everyone that she meets and she comes in contact with, she has a lasting impression on. We joke about it. Me and her father joke about it all the time. Like, how could we? What did we do? Because we're nothing like this. But we have an amazing support, an amazing village. My mom has been there. Imani is very much into the church as well. So her Christian background actually, really carries her a long way. She's very determined, very disciplined. And my hope for her is that to help to guide her, to keep her along that path, to keep her on a straight and narrow path. and to continue instilling the good values that I know that I was raised with, and the mistakes I learned when I grew up, so she wouldn't make those, she's not going to make those. I mean, that's really what I'm striving to do. And you know, she's a very competitive person, I must say that. She swims competitively, and she swims competitively. And apart from just with her competitiveness, she's very creative. So she's always coming up with ideas. Sometimes I'm have to be like, no, we have to put that one aside. So we actually every year around the same time, we come up with like I would say like a vision board, and we make realistic, you know, goals for the upcoming year, and we stick to that. And that's one of the definitely things I think is very important for parents to do, is to have that conversation with your child, with your children, as to what is it that they want to achieve. I like the fact that you asked her like where she sees herself in 5 years. I mean, there's a meme that goes around that says none of us got it right 5 years ago. If we were to really think about it, where you see yourself in 5 years, we didn't think we we're going to be living through a pandemic. But that's literally what we do. We try to think ahead and make plans, because that's what we have to do. It's true.
We absolutely have to. And you've given us just, you know, I'm always looking for what I can take away in terms of learnings. The idea of giving of oneself, you know, just giving that gift or something that is from you.
Yes.
It's always, I remember my mom saying, you know, the thing that's most valuable to give away is something you'd like to keep. And so that lesson is a great one. The importance of your village is a great one. And the vision board, something I keep meaning to do, but you know, from what she's accomplished so far, it makes sense. And it's something we need to build into a plan with our children.
Because they too, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, we do it as adults, but for children, they have visions. And, you know, something I've always told her that, you know, there's no child too small to do great things. So, you know, have that discussion with them. And that's what I have been doing for the last couple of years. And every year we try to at least, you know, check the box on a couple of those things. We don't always make it for everything, but, you know, at the end of the year, when you look back and you see what you've achieved, we usually go, like a high five. And we say,
absolutely, high five. And you had a plan. You wouldn't have achieved any of those things without a plan. So that's fantastic.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you have a fantastic village. I have to say that we at Heritage are so thrilled to be a part of your planning for Imani-Leigh. Thank you for allowing us to be part of this amazing village that hopefully will grow, not hopefully, I know, will help to grow and shape this amazing young woman.
It's one of the best decisions I think that I made with it. With what we did was when she was 2 years old. And, you know, when we look at, I mean, I've had friends, you know, who have had children who have now gone overseas to university, and it's been very difficult. So, I mean, the average cost for a university degree, just undergraduate degree, can run anywhere between 100 to 200,000 US dollars a year. I mean, we have very smart kids, but the financial, you know, aid and need, it's there. And so it's very comforting to know that, you know, when she's ready to go, because she's already given me this demo, she wants to travel, you heard her. She wants to do university overseas. So I really don't have a choice right now. So I'm actually planning for that. And it's great to know that Heritage, you know, is helping me to do that. And you guys have been amazing. I mean, every so often I am checked in on. Every year the opportunities are given to me, and I'm reminded of what it is that I can do, so that, you know, when it's time, we can increase this and, you know, increase that, and what my returns will be or what her returns will be. And every year I try to go a little bit more, because I know that in a few years from now, and time is running by so quickly, that I'm going to have to be paying for a tertiary education. So
yes, and a medical degree.
And clearly. A medical degree, exactly.
A specialty in cardiothoracic.
And a specialty in cardiothoracic. So I have lots of colleagues who are still 41, 42 years old, and they're still having a student loan to pay back. And they're in significant debt, meaning physicians like me overseas. So I know that this was a good choice that I made. And we're looking forward to it.
That's awesome. Thanks for allowing us to help you put the pieces in place and for readjusting your schedule to be here tonight. This is a small token, but just a piece by Everett Powell. So I hope that we'll arrange through your rep to get this to you and that you'll put it in a special place. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Take care. Bye. And just continue to do great things. We're really proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Our pleasure. I mean, I think I'm overwhelmed, really. So eloquent, articulate, and, you know, a great vision. Before we move into our next item, I would actually like to share with you a special memory from Linda Levy, who's another long-serving member of our team and Imani-Leigh's rep. She says that she talks about a client who lost his wife very suddenly and was left a widower with 3 children, who has said to her over and over again, I do not know how I would have put these children through college if they had not saved in this plan. And it's, as for Linda, you know, I know it warms her heart to know that the unique features of our plan really do make a difference. It is a special plan, and it's one that we look forward to sharing a bit more about with you. For those of you who are new to Heritage, we've actually asked our Vice President of Sales and Distribution, Dylan Frost, to join us to tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. Over to you, Dylan.
Thank you very much, Kamika. And hello to everybody in Jamaica. Like Kamika, I wish we were able to do some of these meetings in person, but instead I'm joining you from my home office in Mississauga, Ontario, just an outskirt of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It's my pleasure to be here this evening to help enjoy and celebrate this milestone of 25 years of raising heroes in Jamaica. This year, we also celebrated our 55 years of business in Canada. And as part of what we called our Spirit 55 campaign, we committed to donating a portion of what was sold by our team over the summer months to charities across Canada. As a company, we donated over 39,000 Canadian dollars to nonprofit organizations across Canada. And thanks to the results of our international markets, we donated a further $2,000 US to charities across our international markets. Here in Jamaica, the sales team selected the Jamaica Autism Support Association to benefit from the donation of over $700 US. The organization is committed to educating and supporting parents and families who are struggling with a diagnosis of autism, so that they know how best to support their children. And we are proud to help contribute to their efforts. Through the Heritage Plan, we assist parents and grandparents in preparing for their child's post-secondary education or tertiary education. Subscribers save in US dollars towards the first year of studies. In the year the child turns 18 years old, usually, the plan matures and Heritage returns the savings, those are the contributions, less fees, to the subscriber. In the child's second, third, and fourth year of study, the foundation pays what are called education assistance payments or scholarships in US dollars directly to the students to assist in offsetting the cost of their studies, including things like tuition, books, computers, room and board. At the end of the day, they can use the money to pay off whatever costs that they incur. We provide our subscribers with a structured savings plan that offers a lower risk while partnering with reputable investment managers to maximize returns for our customers. Subscribers who received their third and final payouts this year benefited from a 4.8% total return. We're very proud to have seen, or to have been, the first company in Jamaica to offer a dedicated post-secondary education savings plan. Since inception in Jamaica, we've returned over $57 million US in savings, as well as education assistance payments to Jamaican families. So that's $57 million and counting. This includes $44 million in principal and an extra $13.2 million in education assistance payments. To our subscribers, thank you for trusting us with your education savings. We look forward to working with you in the years ahead to prepare for your child's future education. If you're learning about Heritage for the first time, We look forward to providing you with more details and welcoming you to the Heritage family. Kamika, on behalf of the entire management team here in Canada, congratulations to you and your team on 25 years. What an amazing achievement.
Thank you so much, Dylan. We're really proud of what we've accomplished, and those numbers just really make us feel great too. And I'm going to share with you a few words from another one of our subscribers, Michelle Nita, about her experience with Heritage. Michelle says because of illness and life's eventualities, she actually had to stop her contributions for a time. As soon as there was job security, she resumed her savings, and the flexibility of the plan really allowed her to make options to make up for lost time. And the plan, our Heritage plan, delivered when everything else failed. We're really pleased to have been able to assist Michelle and her boys in completing their studies and to be a part of so many children's growing up. It's been wonderful. Our second guest tonight is considered to be the baby whisperer here in Jamaica. Elena Diedrick-Lynch is a parenting consultant who's been featured in magazines and local TV shows. And over the years, she's contributed to many parenting webinars. She's had a column in local parenting magazines and continues to moderate and curate her Facebook Caribbean parenting group and her Instagram page daily. It's Blissful Mummy. Elena is now also creative partner in the newly formed Elle Creative. We invited her especially to talk about how to navigate the challenges of being a new parent. I know that working from home with children who are also learning from home comes with its own set of challenges. I know that firsthand. But we don't often think about how parents of newborns might be coping with their challenges with all the change that's underway. So I really want to thank you for joining us here this evening, Elena. We're so glad to have you. It's nice to catch up.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure.
Well, and your journey has really been an interesting one. I want to go back to where it all started. If you can tell us about this special book and how it's transformed your life.
Well, it certainly did. And, you know, it's amazing how life works, because this little book, there you go, The Secrets of the Baby Whisperer, was a gift that I received from you 11 years ago.
It's that long?
It was that long. Just weeks after, I had my first child. And, you know, I think the only regret we had is that it sat on the coffee table for about 2 weeks before I was actually able to open it. But once we did, it really just took us step by step in such an incredibly articulate and considerate way into how to very mindfully tune into our baby, our first baby, and, you know, armed us along that process. Yeah, so from there, it morphed into something that was pretty unimaginable. I really didn't see it coming to where it came to, but when she was 6 months old, we moved back to Jamaica. We were living in Miami at the time. Just the two of us, really didn't have much of a immediate support system around us. And as you know, the village is very important. And we kind of felt like we were recreating the wheel, and why do this when we could just move home and, you know, have our extended family and immediate family nearby. And so in moving home, people were just really astonished as to how quickly she would go to sleep, or wake up and she's ready to go, and she was always happy. And I said, well, really and truly, I have to attribute it all to The Secrets of the Baby Whisperer, because it really did arm and protect us and prepare us to be the best parents that we could be. And there were certainly moments of, you know, parenting potholes and moments of lessons that were learned the hard way, but, you know, that's parenting for you. But it from there, the most incredible thing was that I reached out to the writer of the book and found out that in 2004, she actually passed away. Sorry, I don't know why that always makes you so emotional. I feel like I've known her my entire parenting.
Well, she writes like you know her.
I know, she does. It was very special. She was a very special person to us through this. But we were able to get through to the co-author and invited her down to Jamaica. And through that opportunity, she hosted a parenting seminar for us, where we had an opportunity in the morning to speak to new parents of infants, and in the afternoon, parents of toddlers, and really had such an incredible platform to provide parents the tools that really could empower them in their parenting journey.
Yeah. And I know in reading, it's funny, I called it the instruction manual that the babies are working with. But one of the things I know, the biggest takeaway for me was the importance of a routine and just being able to stick to a bit of a schedule, which is really what made the difference. Can you tell me in implementing the routine and sharing it with family, you've now created what is a virtual village known as Blissful Mommy and Daddy. Can you tell me how you kind of evolved into that?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately coming off of that parenting seminar where Melinda Blau was kind enough to run for me, she essentially asked me to continue Tracy's work. And with one baby who was, just a year at the time, I really felt very ill-equipped and felt as though I was kind of in full imposter syndrome. But, what came from that was a lot of people who really wanted support, who, had followed their, whether it be their parents or other support, members they had in their village, who essentially said, let the baby cry it out. The baby will eventually find its level. And it, quite frankly, just didn't sit well with my soul. And a lot of people started reaching out, immediate, just within the village, family, friends. And it kind of just morphed out from there. And I kind of felt like, listen, I can't go to every social function or be stopped in supermarkets and how do I do this? How do I do this? So it turned into a blog, and I was very privileged to have that platform and be able to share our parenting experience. And from there into a website, and Facebook became a little bit more popular with the groups. And I thought, why not curate a world where new parents have an opportunity to feel safe, to share their questions, their concerns, their experiences, and get feedback from not only me, but other new parents. And it's just been such an incredible journey. And through that, I have had an opportunity to work with many families and going in one-on-one and working with them through their various challenges, whether it be implementing routines, or dealing with night waking issues, how to sort out their day to night issues with newborns, starting solids, preparing their home for the baby, learning to crawl and walk, all of these various stages. And then as those babies grew up, my blissful babies, I grew in our family as well. And we now have 3 children, ages 11, 7, and 4. And through that journey, yes, there's little Saya. Through that journey, I've had an opportunity to really understand the various nuances even more than I did with my first child, and be able to help other parents that much more as well. So having the privilege of going into somebody's home and really helping establish the framework and the blueprint of what can be such a successful foundation of a routine is something that is such a great gift to be able to give to somebody. And it's a privilege, quite frankly.
Yeah, it's funny because there's 2 things that you said that I just want to drill down into a little bit. One is the importance of we've talked about the importance of a routine, but you have this village, which is critical, who may have a different sort of thinking on how that routine should work. How do you kind of balance those 2 things?
Very delicately. I've worked with the one family that pops to mind immediately was a family much like my own, in that the grandparents were very involved in baby's day-to-day life. And what a blessing that is. But that being said, mommy was brought up in a household, and parents come to their parenting experiences with the experience that their parents has had, right? So grandma comes to the table and says, well, none of this, I see somebody's poking their head out, supposed to be in bed. None of this swaddling baby and wrapping baby up tightly. What is this foolishness? Why do you have a monitor in the room? I mean, really, let the baby just cry and go to sleep. Baby will sleep when the baby will sleep. Never wake a sleeping baby. I mean, we've heard it all, right? I think that creating that framework is so incredibly vital, especially in the early days, to give parents an opportunity to feel a sense of not only predictability, but allow their instincts to naturally kind of come out. I think working with the families that I've worked with, interfacing with, whether it be a very strong-willed nanny or helper who has a really great perspective and point of reference to their own experiences, and also grandparents, or one spouse or or the other feeling as though they came from a family where this is how it was done and this is how we're going to do it. And the truth is that as we evolve as communities, as families, as nations, we evolve with the information that we have, and it ultimately is to improve us and make us better. And parenting is no different. So this particular book for me, I felt was the most mindful and conscious way to really tune in to baby's needs and to be able to communicate to baby even before baby is able to communicate with us exactly what's going to happen next. And the reality is that newborns are born with, unlike us, they don't have the framework and blueprint as to what happens and what comes next every day. So we have to help establish that. I mean, for the first, I'd venture to say first few weeks of life, babies really have a challenge in understanding day and night. And so you do tend to find that they will sleep for long period stretches of the day and, not really understanding how that works. Most parents will just let them. And then invariably you're up all night. So it's a matter of kind of arming yourself and determining how it is you can move forward in your own parenting journey and learn to lean into that kind of uncomfortable, awkward stage where your instincts are growing and those new parenting muscles are developing.
Yes, yeah. And I see the little caption saying the action plan, but I want to just drill down to my other part of the question first before we go, which is COVID, right? Like we talk about creating a schedule and putting normal, a routine in place, but what does that mean in the context of all of this?
Yeah.
How do we help them adapt to this?
I found that COVID has actually brought forth many more parents than before. Primarily because I think, given that we went through, particularly in Jamaica, went through a harsh period of lockdown for such a stretch that parents who, maybe had relied on help or have just had baby and hadn't even gotten help put in place yet, really were forced to deal with a reality that they was very new to them, and ultimately that foundation hadn't yet been set. So I have worked with a number of new parents during COVID, and through that helped to establish what that schedule versus routine looks like. And the premise of Secrets of the Baby Whisperer is that it is a routine that's ruled through an acronym: EASY, eat, activity, sleep, and you time. And ultimately, it allows new parents to understand essentially what happens when and what that order really needs to look like. And for more information on that, I see this activity program here is put up, and it's very helpful for new parents to kind of give them a gauge, a sense of time. While a routine is definitely something that just gives us a sense of predictability, it's not necessarily set on what Tracy Hogg refers to as the schedule. So many other parenting coaches will refer to, well, this particular time, this needs to happen, and this time, and they're very strict about this concept of a schedule being very time oriented. But the truth is that life happens when it happens sometimes. And while you do ideally want your baby to wake up at 7, if baby doesn't wake up until 7:15 or 7:20, it's not going to be the end of the world. Yeah. You do just want to make sure that there is that sense of predictability and you're running with that routine. So through COVID, I've had an opportunity to work with, as I said, a lot of new parents who, because we're home and we're wrapped up, encapsulated in the 4 walls, have really been forced to sit down and go, okay, what do I want my day to look like? How am I going to be able to manage the reality of a new baby, finding my sanity, building this new normal, and yes, also at some point get back to work and meet deliverables. So it's really been more, I think, of necessity in some cases, because we just had to be able to function. But the mere fact that we were all home and forced to deal with it one-on-one gave people the opportunity to just tune in and be that much more conscious.
Right. And so can you, back to the action plan now, can you share some tips on how to create an action plan or a routine as a parent, and the importance of being patient as they go through this process?
Patient is incredible. So one of the questions I always get is, when should I implement a routine? The truth is is that you should really start from baby comes home. That's ideal. Most parents will call me somewhere between 4 and 6 months. Some call me in a panic, somewhere close to a year. I can't take this anymore. I don't really know what to do.
I need to sleep.
But I need to get some sleep. The truth is that the earlier you start, as Tracy always says, start as you mean to go on. So I like to say to parents, think about your ideal. Where is it you want to get to? Ideally, we'd like our children at any age to sleep independently, to go down to bed without an issue, without a hassle, and to sleep, soundly through the night. That's your overall goal, right? In some instances, it's just not going to happen like that. Whether that be we're starting a little later in the program, i.e., baby is born, it's been 4 or 5 months of having a very etched in reality for that child and ultimately a point of reference and has become a habit. That's what I refer to as a parenting pothole. And I think that it's very important that you kind of be patient with yourself and also patient with your child, because the truth is that's their point of reference. It's the only normal they've ever known. But it's an opportunity for you to kind of take a step back, gain some perspective, and figure out how you want to move forward. And I always say to parents, just sit down and look at your day. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to get up at this time, and these are the various things that have to happen after that. So if you can ensure that you are being as patient with baby as you can in terms of implementing the routine, then you know that you're going to eventually hit success. It may not happen overnight if you're starting at 7 months. It may not happen overnight if you're starting later on. I've had parents of 2 and 3 year olds going, I really think I went sideways somewhere, but how do we get back to it? And the truth is you can. It's just going to take you longer. But it's just about putting the pieces and just being patient with yourself and baby, one step at a time.
And to establish a routine. That's great. And so as a mom, wife, businesswoman with new business, tell me how your plan has helped you to manage it all.
The truth is that the overall framework of the easy routine, eat, activity, sleep, and you time, has pretty much stayed the same from birth in my household.
Wow.
In that, all of my children pretty much go to bed at the same time. They're all up around the same time. And while we have definitely, to my chagrin, grown out of naps, because I just love naps.
Naps are awesome. I've grown back into naps, actually.
I love naps. I think that having the sense of predictability of what happens next and an overall kind of general time frame of when that needs to happen really allows my family to just kind of work like clockwork. They know that they have to get up. They know that they have to wash their face and brush their teeth, come down for breakfast, get themselves dressed for school. And all of these things just kind of happen after the other. So the expectations are clear. And, in the business world, we say that the deliverables are clear. And the truth is, for children, it's really not that different. And they need to know what's going to happen next to give them a sense of security as to how to move forward. There's some nights that definitely deviate from that. There's some mornings that deviate from that. And the thing is you have to just kind of have a sense of fluidity and kind of leave the rigidity to the days of the past, because we don't have a world that can really thrive in rigidity. We have a sense of flexibility as we go through. But for the most part, I think when you initially start, one of the first things that Tracy points out is the 12-hour rule really works very well. So if you're putting baby to bed at, somewhere between 7 and 7:30 every evening, anticipate them to wake up 12 hours later. And that's your overarching goal, that they do sleep 12-hour stretches. And my children, I definitely say that thanks to this incredible book, have learned to love to sleep. And that's just been such an incredible gift, not only to my family, but to so many. So I'm so incredibly grateful for this gift that just kept on giving. So thank you.
You're welcome. Can I say, I didn't know that little seed would have grown into something so amazing, and you really paid it forward.
Didn't see it coming. Yeah. I didn't see it coming, but I'm so incredibly grateful to you and to all of the gems that Tracy and Melinda have brought to the world.
That's fantastic. And all from a little book. So, you know, that's a great gift. It's a great baby shower gift, can I say? And just to say, you know, I really appreciate the insight that you shared, Elena. I think my one takeaway, having read the book, was that probably I was very schedule oriented. And you've helped me to think of it in terms of a routine, that it can be fluid and we can roll with the flow while still giving our children the opportunity to know what's coming. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing so much of a great book in such a small space of time. I know that baby days are really hard. I remember them as being really hard, but I know that parents will appreciate these words of advice.
Yeah. Thank you. This is such a great experience, and congratulations on such an incredible achievement. 25 years of heritage. I remember when you were yours. It's wow. It's such an incredible and I'm honestly, I look on in awe, and it's very inspiring that what came from such an incredible experience coming out of Canada, and now you brought it to not only Jamaica, but, you know, the wider Caribbean, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's been really special, and I'm privileged to be a part of the journey and to have you join us today. Thanks again, Elena. And before we move on to our next guest, I just want to share a few more words from another subscriber. This time, a grandma who actually participated in her niece's plan. So at the birth of her niece, her sister, they discussed contributing to a heritage plan. And it wasn't always easy, but they made it through. And her niece is currently a medical student at UE. As she says, the Heritage Scholarship has helped in ensuring that she will finish university. And now, as a grandma, when her first grandchild was born, she immediately decided to take out a plan for her grandson. So another great way to engage in the plan as grandparents. We have actually now many families who are looking at their enrolling the next generation, ensuring that their children and then now their grandchildren are enrolled in the plan, which is really exciting time for us. So we've moved from one super mom, and we're going to move straight to another. Anika Repole Wilson is our next guest. She is a wife and a mother of two. She's also founder and director and strategy maverick of Business Chic Digital. She's a true super mom, and she is also the founder of Island Mom, a community that celebrates the realness of being a Caribbean parent. I'm sure that Anika is about to drop some great gems for us, so take out your notepads. We've got another great session, and I know that she embraces community. She believes that no man is an island, and that community plays a crucial role in one's healing and development. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Thanks for being here, Anika.
Thank you, Anika.
It's nice to see you on this side of the camera. And I have to say, as founder of Island Moms, and I remember meeting you when there were 400 moms in the group. And now it's incredible. And it's been amazing to watch the community grow. But tell me, how important is it to be surrounded by people who understand your unique perspective of being a Caribbean parent?
Well, I think generally speaking, we have in the Caribbean, and especially if you're in the diaspora, we do have a unique experience. There's a rawness to how we parent. It's also quite rooted in tradition as well. So it really does straddle the fence of raw, real, authentic, and as well as very traditional. And it has been a wonderful experience to meet so many women throughout the diaspora and across the Caribbean. And I have moments where I'll be at the supermarket, or I've actually ran into Island Moms in Florida and Canada just out of the blue, like it's actually kind of crazy. But it's been wonderful, and I think it's incredibly important. And even jumping off of what Elena was saying, that aspect of having community and being able to share, and having that support system that that you can go to your girls, in the background one day after a very long day, or maybe a meltdown, or you're crying in the bathroom, hiding from the kids, and you can vent to them, and you feel safe,
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, it really is a special place. And I know that you started the group because you needed that support system. Can you tell us how your community helped you to cope with all that was happening at the time?
Well, so the backstory is that I really started the community after losing my mom. So for a little bit of context, I had gotten pregnant maybe a month or so right after losing mommy. And I started searching for, I guess, a surrogate kind of voice for my mom. And I joined a bunch of different groups online. I was searching through online magazines, and I started giving advice to other women. And what I found was I was hearing her voice through mine in the advice I was giving. And the story is that one day I fell asleep, had a wonderful dream about her, and I woke up with the idea for Island Mom, and basically the rest is history. So registered domain name, started the group, and just kind of inviting the friends and a few family members into the space, and it just took off.
Yeah, it really has been amazing to see the growth. And tell me, did having a community of moms that understand the struggles that you were going through help you to make the transition? I know you left corporate job to start your own entrepreneurial journey. How did that community help?
You know, the thing is, I actually listened intently to all of their concerns. When I started my business, I was actually starting the business with the hope of being able to help more of them in creating opportunities for training through virtual assistants and being able to work from home. And that was always the goal for me. In the back of my head, I want to be able to work from home. I want to have a business that I can run virtually. I wanted to be able to figure out ways that my business can grow and then flourish and be able to further help the Island Mom community. So having them there and being able to share some stories with other moms who were either mompreneurs already, or they were quite set in their own routines. Like even Elena and I had bonded a few times before just around creating routine. I'm like, I was taking notes when you and Elena were talking a while ago, because I'm over here, it's not that organized. I'll say that much. And just be upfront. So it's the community overall is really supportive. I think one thing that Elena may empathize with is that we create the space, but we may not necessarily enjoy the space as much as the members of the community, which is it's a little sad. Yeah. And I've actually shared it in Island Mom, in the sense that, you know, the group was really founded to support moms, but I feel sometimes, to be honest, that I miss out on that golden aspect of sharing. So every now and again, I'll drop something in there, but usually what I love is being able to share my experience with others. So my fulfillment comes from helping someone else in the DMs, or having heartfelt moments when a mom is in labor, but she's also sadly probably laboring regarding a stillbirth or having a miscarriage. And we have those very incredible moments that people don't talk about, typically speaking, and it has opened up such a realm of empathy. And I didn't know that my heart was this big until having started Island Mom and being able to interact with so many incredible women and dads. They're dads in Island Mom.
And dads.
They're quiet.
Yes.
They're there.
They are. Yeah, it has been quite a journey, and you're right. There have been some amazing dialogues and interactions. In particular, for me, I'm thinking of a mom who was on her way to to do some tests for a cancer diagnosis, and you know, she says, "I'm here at the clinic," and I had like 20 minutes between what I was doing, and it was right next door, and I ran over, but she must have gone to get a drink, and I never met her, but I still feel like I know her.
Yeah.
You know, we never connected that day, but 3 or 4 moms were able to be there for her over the course of the day. And it just, you know, I think that has been a really special experience, and every once in a while people are checking in on her. So just the different dynamics, different friendships, different bonds.
They support each other virtually and also in person, because we've done round robins for moms who have like a sick child at the hospital, or we've sent nannies over to somebody else's home. So it's really been a village. There's that outreach element, but I think generally speaking, the value is in that virtual village, where you can really be able to feel very close to someone who is thousands of miles away. And some serious sisterhood bonds have been created out of Isla Mom. And it's wonderful to even see them in regular Facebook land, and they're sharing their pictures and their moments together, and then you develop friendships. So it's been lovely.
It has been, and I think people couldn't understand how a friendship could develop in a virtual environment, but it really can.
It does.
It really can. Yeah. Thank you. And so let's talk about this year. The COVID year 2020 has had all kinds of curveballs, which have definitely caught some of us off guard. As a mom and an entrepreneur, can you share perhaps how important it is to plan for the future? And part two of that would be, how would you advise mompreneurs to plan for 2021?
I will be frank and say that this year, at the very start, even pre-COVID, it was just overwhelming. There were just so many things that were happening. And I went through what I call a state of paralysis, where it felt like something was wrong with me, because I'm seeing my competitors and I'm seeing all the colleagues and they're out there, they're killing it. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And I felt stuck and I felt paralyzed. And I went back to my old academic brain and said, okay, there has to be a logical explanation for this. And in discovery, found out that flight fight response has this other response that people don't talk about, which is freeze. And I'm bringing this up because I think a lot of business owners, moms, just generally anybody is probably in a state now. We're coming towards the end of 2020 and realizing, holy crap, I didn't finish this, or I didn't do this, or I didn't meet this goal. But there have been so many different opportunities that may have presented themselves to us. So my suggestion would be pause. If you're feeling that state of paralysis, it's probably within good reason to take stock of what is happening. Realize that this year, though quite traumatic, has probably been transformative for you. Look at the pitfalls that you supposedly had this year and see what wins you also had. There was someone who I had spoken to online, another online friend, who had lost a really big opportunity recently because of COVID. And I had said to her, I said, look on what you had done to manifest this opportunity leading up to it. I know it feels horrible right now that you have lost this moment for yourself, but you obviously did something right in the years and months leading up to this point. So pause. You feeling stuck? It means that you need to be stuck and you need to think and go back and take stock and figure out what other steps could I take? Because if you're presented with these opportunities, that means that more are going to come. You just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Yeah. That's really good advice in terms of handling this period of change and transition. And I think we've all been a little bit afraid of trying something new, but it's in trying and doing that great things happen. I look at this, what we've created here is pretty amazing, and it's been really exciting to see manifest itself. So thank you.
It's been absolutely rewarding to be able to see what you are doing and to be a part of this story as well from the back end. And I am a Heritage subscriber as well. Little Seth is enrolled. So I believe in Heritage. I believe in the vision of it, and I am excited to see what more comes from Heritage over the next 25 to 30, 50
and beyond. It'll be exciting. So it's no secret, Anika is actually on the back end producing a lot of what we've done here. And we're really excited to have been able to partner with you, Anika, in creating something fantastic. You know, I feel like we didn't just put stuff out, but it was really meaningful stuff meaningful content that I know.
I say stuff all the time.
Yes, I keep telling my kids it's not stuff. But we've really created something special, and it's been exciting, and I've been really thankful for this journey. And also just to say, you know, a little bit about that village and the fact that, like Elena, I started my parenting journey overseas. I did 10 years in Canada, and I have no idea how we did that. No idea. My husband had to really probably step up in a way he didn't anticipate. And but what got us through was the village that we created. You know, we were able to find our surrogate family through our friends who would catch one of the kids if they were doing something wrong and wouldn't hesitate to draw them up on it. And that's what, you know, both in real time and in virtual time, I think is so important. As moms, we can't do it by ourselves. And I'm really proud of what you have created and curated. I love what Elena has created. And I'm really excited to see what where the future will take you and us.
Thank you.
So, thanks for this opportunity and for being here. And I'm
flipping the script on you. I'm flipping the script on you next week. Okay. Because I'm inviting you to be a part of Island Mom After Dark, and you are going to be our guest. It's not that kind of After Dark.
The regular.
It's going to be I think a wonderful interview with you on the other side, and I'm excited to ask you some questions too, Kamika. So, but Island Moms who are watching, you want to tune in next week Saturday.
Okay. All right. I'll be there. Looking forward to it. And I'm so excited that the party, that'll be the after party, right? The fun time.
Yes, exactly.
Excellent.
Take care.
Well, thank you. And thanks to everyone who joined us this evening. You know, this feels like a little bit of a sad time for me because it's been so special. I really especially want to thank our subscribers who've been tuning in. Please check your email for details of an exclusive draw and take action if you haven't already done so. We also have, I mentioned at the top of this, a draw for a Samsung tablet, which is open to viewers of this broadcast. Make a note of the code at the bottom of the screen and click on the link below to enter. And we're really working to ensure that all of our viewers, both live and recorded, can take part. So the deadline has been extended to December 11th. I'm also going to invite you to visit and follow us on Facebook to catch up on the series and to be the first to access our downloadable parent resources. There will be some amazing tips from all of those who participated in this series. To me, I see it as kind of a little cheat sheet. If you don't have time to scroll through the video to find that minute where Dr. Carpenter said this about slowing down, it'll be in that guide. And we're working on, as I said, that compilation of tips from those who participated in the series. I will say that this Raising Heroes web series was brought to you by Heritage. I would be remiss if I didn't remind you how to start a Heritage plan or to join our team. You can just call the office at 968-1601 or WhatsApp us at 876-537-1648. And we'll connect you with a rep who can answer all of your questions. Let me say a final thank you for joining us. This really has truly been a special journey of learning and discovery, and I am so thankful to have been able to be on this journey with each and every one of you. Thanks so much. Good night.